Good morning. Welcome to the Broadstreet Church of Christ Throwback Thursday edition. Well, we go back and recap a sermon that we did in the past to bring it back to our hearing today. We're going to take our sermon from in April called The Exceeding Abundant God. Well, we used Ephesians chapter 3 and verse number 20, where the Bible says, "Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us." You know, in the midst of these troubling times and these difficult times that the coronavirus has caused us, it's wonderful to know that we got a God that can do exceeding abundantly above all that we can think or even ask. In other words, God has already worked out our problem long before we ask him. In fact, the problem or the solution to our problem has already been given before the problem itself even began to manifest itself. You know, I'm reminded of some stuff about our exceeding abundant God. And let me drop this on you so that, you know, we can have some encouragement. That person that is asking for your forgiveness, but you find it hard to forgive, don't you know that God can do exceeding abundantly in changing your heart? I'm talking about he can change the heart of the person that has wronged you. Or he can change your heart if you wrong somebody, and he can change both parties' heart that you guys can be friends again. In fact, Jesus says like this: if you forgive not your brother, your sister of their trespasses, our Heavenly Father will not forgive you of your trespasses. So God can do exceeding abundantly in helping you mend that broken heart. That job that you have been praying for, but you're grossly underqualified for. You know, a job that you really want, but you know that your qualifications doesn't meet the specifications for that job, but God can give you that job anyhow. He can take your resume and set it on the table and put it in front of the right eyes, unbeknownst to you. And you could be minding your own business, and the next thing you know, you're getting that phone call saying, "You're hired." The exceeding abundant God. That family member who knows that it is outside of Christ, that lives outside of God's will, that does what he or she wants. God can change their direction. God can change their attitude. God can change their perspective on life. You know, he may let them get outside his will and go through difficult times, but his exceeding abundant will drive them back to him if they soften their heart and allow it. You know, the strength that you lack to resist sex, to resist drugs, to resist the lying temptation that's standing in your way. Our God is exceeding abundant. He can help you resist that casual sex. He can help you resist that drug use. He can help you resist that thing that's holding you hostage. You know, that stuff that you thought that you could never relinquish. You know, that stuff that you thought you never thought that you can get away from his grasp. God is so exceeding. God is so abundant in his grace, his mercy, and his power that he can make a way out of no way. He can release you from that stronghold that has you captive only if you allow it. That past failure that you don't have strength or the wisdom to overcome, God can do exceeding abundant. He can help you get past that failure. So what you failed on yesterday? So what you failed on today? Guess what? If you keep living long enough, you're going to fail on your tomorrow. But God is exceeding and abundant that he's able to help you overcome your own self. And finally, that loneliness that you feel because you don't have family. You don't have friends. You're all by yourself. But I stopped by here this morning to tell you that the exceeding abundant God, he can be the friend to the friendless. He can be the mother to the motherless. And he is the father to the fatherless. All you have to do is give your life to God. The Bible says, "Now to him that is able to do exceeding abundant above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us." At John chapter 11, Martha knew that Jesus could have saved Lazarus. But Jesus already knew what was going to happen to Lazarus long before it happened to Lazarus. But Martha in his own way, she said, but if Jesus would just have been here, Lazarus wouldn't have died. It's amazing to know that you got some stuff in your life that's dying, stuff in your life that's failing, stuff in your life that has lost its fervor and strength. And you know the source, the Father, the God, the Jesus the Christ, the one thing that's able to give back the power to the powerless, give back life to the lifeless, give back strength to the strength. Those that have failed their strength, you do know that Jesus has already worked it out. All you got to do is have faith in him. And Luke chapter 5, Peter wasn't catching fish. Jesus said, cast your nets to the other side. Cast your nets out into the deep. Now Peter, an avid fisherman, he knew everything about fishing. But because Jesus told him to cast his nets in a place he wasn't casting his nets before, the Bible tells us that Peter began to catch so much fish that the nets were breaking and the ships were sinking. That's the kind of God we got, the exceeding abundant God. That if you just cast your nets into the zone that God wants you to cast them into, that he's able to break the nets and sink the boat. Any wonderful? Just think about our God. And Matthew chapter 14, with 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish. You know, if we got 5 fish and 2 loaves of bread in my house, we got enough for a fish sandwich. But in Matthew chapter 14, the exceeding abundant God, he took 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish, and he fed a multitude. In fact, when he got finished feeding the multitude, they have 12 baskets left over. Now, I don't have to tell you, 2 pieces of bread and a piece of fish, when I get through eating it, there's nothing left. But if you take it and put it in God's hands, their fragments become so plentiful that you got what you can't see. Because God is operating outside your sight pattern. He's operating his vision. But his vision is there to help you to overcome. And finally, story is told of a little boy who had a boat. This little plastic boat, he put it in the water. But on that lake, that boat began to just move farther and farther and farther away from the shore. And the little boy began to cry for help. My boat is leaving. My boat is leaving. So a man heard the boy's screams. He began to pick up rocks. And he chucked the rocks. Whoosh. But the rocks would go beyond the boat. Rock number 1 beyond the boat. Rock number 2 beyond the boat. Rock number 3 beyond the boat. And the little boys began to get hysterical. Sir, what are you doing? You trying to hurt my boat. And the man said, trust me. And the boy said, no, you're trying to sabotage my boat. But the man kept throwing the rocks. He kept throwing the rocks. And the boy began to see that the ripple effect for the rocks going past the boat caused the ripple to move the boat back toward the shore. What the boy didn't see is that the man already had the plan to work it out. God is the man that already has the plan to work out all your past failures, your past mistakes, your past setbacks, your past weaknesses, your past inabilities. All you got to do is put your life, put your trust, put your strength in God. And God has it worked out. This is Brother Anthony from the Broadstreet Church of Christ. Thanking you for watching us on our Throwback Thursday edition of our Exceeding Abundant God. We invite you to 1213 Broad Street in Phoenix City, Alabama. where the doors of this building indeed roll back on welcome hinges. But most important, we invite you here to worship with us as we sit around God's throne.